I say, Yedemu live our Facebook. I am my CTV like ya. Na washe no will be ehunia ekoso and some no the bedimo akutini be any. President Awano and Ghana Journalist Association ano Edin Sembi atuja afa eye and central for any stories ahuru awomo edema omanfo.
Position in on the global stage also, Ghana dropped from 30th position in 2021 to 60th in 2022, the worst ranking in 20 years. We are also much aware that the recent detention of Lateefa has been picked by the Reporters Without Borders, and that may consequently affect our ranking in the coming days before the word press freedom
Yera Matthew Opoku Prempe Edensam Atuja Atremuse Sadia Beye na enyinam kanea no wobia enye bina so no nintine beya anka eye akadia na seniema enhyada entwe enyinam kanea bebre no eno no wo manfo emfa enye adwuma.
The other side is how much we consume the energy at home. We should use more energy efficient equipment. Right? We should use more energy equipment, and we should make sure when we are leaving our homes, we don't leave the electricity on.
Empenifo eyi Owura Collins no amase wono embeye deputy managing director ewa Ghana Water Company Limited neno ena adwumayefo se womo bo enyuso enu ntino womo ayewo ye kire kese pa.
We believe it's a position that should be filled with people with both the technical and institutional knowledge of our operations.
And some be eka we ho ebusia kame ho na mefa emeso mu midin e de Lateefa Akuffo. Metwa me ho abasisia. Afe and Samuno emu entremo ankasa enye. Yako eye Ghana Journalist Association President Awano eneda womo ano eye Owura Kwabena Jumfuo Albert na nisama wode atuja sese no. Ene se wasrese anka aban no empe kwan bia ebetimi ama eye ensenkyerefo aya na womode eye nsema nokre bia enimu anase eha wo manfo no edi tudwa no anka ebetimi atwe womo asosanse. Sanyema we no eya so pa wachire mu ese nansenya eyade a ensenkyerefo bi de aban ensa aka wo mu ni na ne se wo mo edensem bi atudwa na tese wo mo ekoye nhwehwemu no nokre bia enim ti aban koso a wo ye sade we a ebetimi aboa akwani asani na so.
We recognize that the media and journalists can sometimes be reckless and unprofessional to the extent of publishing false and defamatory stories. Fortunately, the laws of the country provide aggrieved entities with remedies for civil actions against citizens, journalists, and media organizations. It is regrettable, therefore, that repressive actions of the Electronic Communications Act and the Criminal and Other Offences Act 1960 Act 29 are being weaponized to muzzle free speech under the Akuffo regime. It may be argued that the arrest and persecutions are being in accordance with the law. It is equally true that the victims of the erstwhile criminal libel law were also dealt with in line with the law. Indeed, many of the world's intolerant and autocratic governments typically deal with decent and press offenses by exploiting the law. Hence our call for a repeal of these two laws. Hence our call for a repeal of these two laws. It is largely due to the wanton arrest and detention of journalists that Ghana promoted from its lofty perch as the country with the freest media environment in Africa in 2018 to 30th in the 2022 Global Press Freedom Ranking by Reporters Without Borders, RSF. On the global stage also, Ghana dropped from 30th position in 2021 to 60th in 2022, the worst ranking in 20 years. We are also much aware that the recent detention of Lateefa has been picked by the Reporters Without Borders, and that may consequently affect our ranking in the coming days before the World Press Freedom, the International Day, is observed. The violations that have been recorded in Ghana over the past year give cause for pessimism regarding the country's performance in the next ranking. It is obvious that our press freedom environment is deteriorating, and that the abuse of the two controversial laws has contributed massively to the deterioration. It is our view, therefore, that efforts to bring a positive change should begin with a reconsideration of those laws. We also call on the government to adequately resource the National Media Commission to effectively carry out its mandate of monitoring and regulating media content in a proactive manner. This, we believe, will discourage police involvement in the media regulatory space. Finally, we commit ourselves to promoting professional standards in the media and urge all journalists and media houses to uphold the highest level of integrity and professionalism. We will not, and we shall not, hesitate to call out any journalist or media organization that indulges in flagrant violation of the professional ethics and standards. This is in view of the recognition that press freedom, and indeed all other forms of freedom, go with responsibility and duty to respect public sensibilities, human dignity, and public interest.
Yatwa and Samuno Esso. Yera Matthew Opoku Pempe, Energy Minister Nisama Wade Atuja NSSC, Ebano Electricity Company of Ghana, Nasa dear friend say ECG na, one more air bokapa, Adaya was say, and you may quack a siapa, and a day a year ECG foka, and unam so, Emma say dear, a canqua, and a womo bon waba, no winter says Kana found more, and Caniano will be trim afe, was Ghana for Samu Pia will be a answer say, ne Caniano will be dumun. No afenso no wamwa ede eye emfidia hodwa yana entimi emboa na se etwenkane ane pa no wose womu nyai na nka wonko pesa 5-star de ni bi no betimi aboa ama enyinam kane no aso obi aso.
I lived in another country where you are taught how to read your own meter and pay on credit. You see, when I talk about responsibility, I really mean that we should be all up and running. You don't say food prices are expensive or extremely high, so you wouldn't eat. You'd rather start looking at what you eat and how many times you eat and readjust to your pockets, right? I'm saying after food, probably the next thing is about energy, whether electricity or energy for our car. In the last year, I think we've all heard the trotro drivers and taxi drivers and everything increase prices incessantly. After every fuel price adjustment, we are being told to pay more for power. If you think that you cannot pay, you find a way of working more efficiently or better. So if you go to work 5 times a week and your work would permit, you start probably going 3 times a week. But you cannot say you are not going to go to work. So the other side is how much we consume the energy at home. We should use more energy efficient equipment, right? We should use more energy equipment, and we should make sure when we are leaving our homes, we don't leave the electricity on. If you check the last PURC tariff adjustment, they did far better for SLTs than has ever happened in this country. Let us trust the systems that we have operating. The last PURC tariff adjustment, they did work for the SLTs. But it's not only energy, it is the key component in industrialization. But if we are the same people, we are not paying for the bills, whose company should make profit for ECG to make a loss? And who should fill up the ECG losses for who to make a profit? It's a simple question. If you say he's employing 1,000 people, so he should not pay electricity, who should pay the electricity? That's my whole question. I'm not saying that if the electricity bill could get cheaper, we shouldn't make it so. We've demonstrated in part, as well as the sensitivity of this government, that the December price of fuel and the April price of fuel, there's a marked difference. The benefits of government policy has accrued to Ghanaians. if it's possible in electricity, like I said, the PRC in price rate determination and last price review, I think they did better for SLTs. And we want even to do better with PRC. They want to come to the position like fuel.
Yanko Yanimna Ekwa a share trade union congress ase ya yefre womo se public utilities workers union womo any ejumafobia e Ghana company limited akabumu womo ayo yetre aden a empanifo abo Owura Collins no amadin se wono enembe deputy managing director e womo ejumakuo ni mu eno wo se wompene so aden ti a womo akyere mu se ejuma no se de etie no wopeni na womo abonidin no wonim sebe ehunim die bia nti wo mu de wontena ho enye enhwehan ni menim ya no wo pesa aban ebo obi fufo edi.
We believe it's a position that should be filled with people with both the technical and institutional knowledge of our operations. We also believe that the technical people would also help the managing director, who is a political appointment, to do his work appropriately. We also want to state that chief of staff, and then we have copied the director of SIGA, we have copied the board chairman of Ghana Water, the managing director, the workers rep, and then the national pool, and the minister. Our position is very simple and clear. We want to state on record that we are not against the appointment of heads of entity by the presidency. But our concern is that the position of the managing director, it's an appointee of the presidency. But the deputy managing director, we believe it's a position that should be filled with people with both the technical and institutional knowledge of our operations. We also believe that the technical people would also help the managing director, who is a political appointment, to do his work appropriately. We also want to state that the profile of the purported nominee indicates that he lacks the requisite professional qualification to be a deputy managing director, FNA. By this, we want to encourage growth and succession planning in our institution. So we want to entreat and encourage the appointing authority to also consider that. With this, we want to state that the appointing authority should reconsider the decision of the nominee for the position of Deputy Managing Director, Finance and Administration for Ghana Water.
Ekwa yefra womo se Ghana National Association of Small Scale Miners ediato abino enimu se wako edietia eye galamse ya yese yensuo ene yensase no ase womo enhuso womo akyere mu se saban epeso wodi nkunim ewo sa akunimu padia ene ebe ya anko yi amanyosem no emfemfiri mu.
Abra General Secretary Ediba Ghana National Association of Small Scale Miners Owura Godwin ama ene yensem training Rebecca Lati ehwehwe enkomoredi to dwase nei saban no ayakrado se kwambia so no obetu galamsi ase wo manmu ene ewo se emfa ho ne amanyoku a obi ewo mu se emra no eso ne mo se nipa no edifo efo galamsi ho a mo mfa amanyosem emforefole sa galamsi ho esese ba ne sadia enya de wo betimi etu galamsi no ase ewo manmu nanso ene ekama yese se yechi obi na se nipa no efi amanyoku we mu a na tresa amanyofo dom ho eforeforo mu ne mo ja nipa no akọ said yanka was sent Camrano no edino and rano and quansa and no to their two dresses say elegant mine between it's your same quadia e was a pino Emma amanyofono a yomo a free sa and some no emo.
Ye election we are 1 year I feel a binding can near my boom ye may no nothing say means soon I basa my young family you same and yet the issue of the fight against Galamsey. And no betting we see actually Crawford to we see any sanity. Say the amount same, especially on political platforms, start here. We say na same nanka say that one, and I say challenge nanka say a year environmental degradation. Near the politics boom. Party AC maybe say near no party being so say near Tunis Rena Basa. Now if a same nanka say and now say difficulties nanka say ewo na yese oman enti eni amanyosem film na two parties especially the major leading parties no any bipartisanship issue yen kambum Ghana de ye chichire aban whether NDC MPP aban no enyina ye beba so ye chichire oman no
Owe yenso eno sign de to aban no enim se aban no betimi e the resources ya beboa MMDCs no and having so e benefo mo e wo district na e betima boa yi pa mo mutimi aboa yetu eye galamse no ase
into the grassroots no ahe the district assemblies ni municipalities any metropolitans na mining wo district esa aban so mo ase no boa no mo so a omo ye te sempenifo e de omo esisi baby so munye adwuma no munye ni yi ana say e evidence so omo boa magalamse for akoso esa aban ni omo di dindende but the district assemblies no ye boa na yeni onye adwuma ahemfo bia na onye adwuma at the local level national challenge but solution at the local level we'll be able to resolve that next some one association no so if say anti task force a ohwe dwumadi aye bia eboa na so akande aye ba no na say minerals commission aso ya ase ye bebo mo abaso be say omo enya fidia e betumi di akọ up and down do na ma adwuma na aye no abafom so
Sabe woba efa ne yonko ba na bema so efa ne yonko bema ane ne ekeka ho ayetwa ne tia se LGBTQ+ no se no eba wo man Ghana etia yamamre ene yamane enu nti ebe ya ansa na yebeto aba eyi wo peli bia wo memu no ewo se yenhu ne gina bia ewo sasemi ehuwei eye doma hene osagefo agiman bedu a wotoso mienu ne nsem
Nana sa LGBTYQ ne nasefo no ya pesa ya ma abrofo no ti se ya nya de abaji atum da Uganda fo ne Africa fo emra aba hye no ya tachire wenten ba ma ne ba ma ba ne ba ya ngi ntumo tom oya chiwade po mekura ne sabi ma ka se nweda nya na Akuffo aduya nka meka say LGBT no wo de be ma ne be ma honware na mo mama hafe sa wanwo a maku ho para no wawo na mo ya nte ase na wada romani de kwanso empanifo ngina wanim na ade America ne say obi ote Ghana ba nwa ne so president vice president ministers party for baba dia no afi 2024 abato no obi a pese ya ntoma no oba kire ba bia ogina wo saade no na o kire ba bia ogina ansa na ye de aba no baba wa ye de ayede ye de ama wo na masre ye wura no ma beti su sesei eduru ba bia bade na ba ka na kwa kasa kwa bi ya ye ntebasie produkuwa aya bibibi ono ase jata ba ka de na ba nka direct say ye Ghana for ya mamre say not here na nanam ye njintum asofofo njintum traditionalists bia njin kramofo njintum namo obia oye Ghana so ya mampanyini na badi akire minister ene mpanimfo abewo so obi pa onkasa saade no ofuaso me adwuma badu an diwai ba Ghana amamra no o man hene kwane so obaya manyo na yobi metu me and the dom baba baby ote aba betu afiwa konya no so nka say enya de a eye non negotiable wo otie nanim ya ne about to me ya de ne mpa obara no akoko ka bi foforo LGBT ya mpa basika otom
na yenkoyenim Enkane national organizer no wada National Democratic Congress NDC amanyokuo no ano Afe woye campaign manager edema eye Dr. Kwabena Dufo eye wofa Yaujan wode ensembi atudwa akyeremu ese nientia eye enkane mampeni John Dramani Mahama wodi nkuguo ewo 2020 abato ekose wono emu ene se na onyankopon ena na ekasa akyere wo mu se wopese wosesa amemu no emu
NDC ase ya watija mene ne batochia efise meka hu bi papa and NDC yetumu win the election 2008 samre no yana odi ani na ya NDC for bimpo ni ani tete wori mu eye Professor Miles everyone say na papa we di osisen we try win the election but to fi wa fu ani edi na chi no ene ye tina bamba sa nyame ya adom ye den ye wini esu papa ne ko ne samachire ya NDC pay for bi ya transika say former president His Excellency John Dramani Mahama ya ma ono nko anya dan enko na mom say obi contest no e ni pa miensa samre no na me national organizer ya sori jirae ya kasi ya mobi contest no ya timu e manyame ya dom ya de no kokumasi ko yi ni kire ya win election 2012 ya wie ya no ese kiye nyira ya yiri ya ho na ya bantu ana dia de si ye 2016 ya lusu election close to 1 million votes ya ni mi esi ye ebiem ya se akoma ya de ya se lusu biem ebiem na nyame ka bi kire ani ti ya mo binu a ya de ne ko ya na ne ya ka ne se be ma be ye bi de drum bibia wa be ye ni nyina ani ti sa sanga tia dia ani adena ya mama diani esan na ya feri ba foforo ma ensu ya papa yi okwase me wo ni se obi be bi sa se adena samri no wate asi onye ohowo e wo NDC waka ho bi eni ati NDC e fare 3 na no na ye ne no ensu na muni mu a aya founder na kasa His Excellency Jerry John Rawlings na the young kupano no na ye ka finances ha ana omo mo kwan ni enyeska e di property mo bra uyi di kwa miensa papa e ka ho na when na echi no 2008 Professor Moses Pidi ya ye fa no as finance minister o ka so obeye adwuma no on certain conditions
Enkane mampeni John Dramani Mahama sese watutu bi ade amane NPP amanyokuo no adenti a wakyeremu ese dumso baaye NDC enetimi buaye ema woman no yenina yenya enyinam kane anenso NPP aban ebaaye sese wababebo wo manyi say team wosore nso ane wode hawni na nasesubo no ede soa Ghana fo eno ntino wabesre senke beya wo monhwe no wonya bibi emfa ho.
We'll also sit here and listen to what your problems are so that we know how we take steps to resolve the issues that are of concern to you. And so that's what we'll do so that we can close the relationship between the leadership and the grassroots. And I think that that is the best way to go. And so we're going to work hard. The ward coordinators, you're also going to work very hard. Because you will be the supervisors of the branches under your jurisdiction. And you also, when your branches exceed their figure, their target, and they deliver the pink sheets correctly, the ward coordinators, you also will get your reward. And so Ghanaians are looking up to us. We all know what the situation in the country is. I don't need to explain again. All of us are going through the hardship. We know that when NDC was in government, I wouldn't say Ghana was paradise, but things were far, far better than they are today. We were a leadership that took responsibility. And the first principle of leadership is to take responsibility. If you don't take responsibility, you cannot solve any challenges. And so we did so. When we had Doomso, we didn't run away from the challenge. I could have said that it's not my fault. It's the fault of lack of generation from the previous government. But I said I was elected to take responsibility for it. It's a situation that has developed, so I take it on my shoulders and I'm going to fix it. And we did that. We did what we could. We brought in extra generation. We resolved the financial issues, and we fixed Dumso in early 2016. By January, we stopped the power rationing. And I can challenge anybody on that. The NPP think that Ghanaians have a short memory, so they keep saying they came and solved them. So it's not true. In 2016, from January, there was no power rationing again. Everybody had light 24/7. If there was any blackout, it was because of a disruption in the power supply of a transformer or something. But everybody had light. There was no power rationing in 2016. And even the vice president said it when we were getting credit from Ghanaians for having solved the Dumso. He said we don't deserve credit because that is what we were elected to do. Today, because they think Ghanaians are forgotten, they say they came and solved Dumso, and they count that as one of their achievements.
Ekwe almost say justice for Oforicum movement. Yeah, omuwa Oforicum. Womacho enkwata tintintin akwakoma eye NDC National Democratic Congress amanyoko ni mumpenifo se eye ora Sadat awala sese no wopese wogina se emrahye bedwani ewo Oforicum no womo empene so enunti no womunya wafemu die bia se wobesi wopeni no kwan.
Wo central for Enshimu Yomo Efreye Ewo Foricum Ekrom Honomode Etu Dwese Enei Adesrede Enobode Etu Eye Api Committee no enim se enemenim ye no mo enhwe na Ahmed Sadet and well omo yino emfemfi akensi no emu eye emreswedwam akensi ya NDC amayoko no ehwe so mo edebehye so omo etwemo se Ahmed Sadet and well ya obode ato mpenifo enim so mo yini emfremi eye fiada eproboso no etoso edu enan no ena trese Api Committee no eye hwehwemu enebede di se Ahmed Sadat Swali onwankasa afa party number chese enye ne dia party number eye Dr. Yunus Dambe ediayo no oil lecturer ewo KNUST campus sa number no eye ne dia nanso Ahmed Sadat Anweli efa sa number de to no so dada Oforicum constituency eye delegate se eye ne dia Justice Kweku Ania Papa ena chese one essential for ekasa yensamo a wode su dwane bi enu
Anwel forged and impersonated a party number belonging to one lecturer at the Kwame University of Science and Technology by Dr. Yunus Dumbi, a senior lecturer of the religious department of KNST. He did this with the intention to mislead the party member in his bid to file his nomination to contest the Oforicum constituency as a parliamentary candidate hopeful in the Ashanti region. 3. Ahmed Sadat Anwo tried to deceive the appeals committee by presenting a fake nomination form to suggest that he used his party number from Asoka constituency where he is currently a member. 4. The appeals committee upon further questioning uncovered the original nomination forms which prove that Sadat Anwo
Okasa wiye enanana sumandeni ye no so oye member ono so echibre edensem weyi etudwa
na so da ye kono konso executive sina ko ebi ko di nachi ekoye ebra na ba kokora ndi other candidate nachi ye koduru ho no ye fale api bio ye sakoye ho no mo kwa akototo ahye no wantimi anya no ono ankasa gitumu kura se enokura wabokoro no a nipa na ye yi ne din free mu na ankasa no ono osi onyehu the outcome obechina tum go betime use din kura kobokoro no ya kosi se watime yi me din afrim na sa subo we nyina ye fa mo bia o constituency some of the constituency executives and ye bo mo sa subo we esanse ansa ne be fill forms no ye be ba na mo ahwe a endorse ansa na call region sabe ye dia resredi e ma nemom sa kosue ne snap amahu nanim hayi anya dia mekono nya dia mekono adi we kwa makon
Nekrakra sofa yakusi ampofo ono so a member ni bi ewo Oforicum constituency ono so echebade to twese obede to mo national penifo nyina enim se de ekoso Oforicum no omo hwe no mo ho enye ha emesoso haw no ano
me wo Oforicum heavy yes national force ensem aminu anu mema maka no omo nsore waka ene ne kine ya epemu aye yes re omo pa so omo ansore dia enye papa maye nti ade se de de to omanim no yesra omo se omo nka bi ehu bibi nche ye da o mase
Medofo ya breno ayabe eha enawia Kasiepo ayede ebesomo no yede esie midi Lateefa Akuffo madawase amamu enisha makra